Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We very much appreciate your time as always. We have a couple of really important updates for you. We're going to be getting a federal update from our friends at Senator Stabenow's office. We have Vernon and Spencer that are joining us. I'm going to bring them on here in just a second. But I wanted to start with our most frequent guest, Larry Johnson from the Shiawassee County Health Department. To give an update. I do want to let everybody know before I turn it over to Larry. Some of you follow me on social media might have seen this on Saturday, but I did get my first shot on Saturday of the vaccine on Moderna at a clinic the health department put on at the Baker College Welcome Center. It was quick, easy, in and out, very well run, very clean, very efficient. And no side effects. I had a slightly sore arm, just a touch. But nothing else. It was very easy. I get my second vaccine shot in mid-May. So for me, the process has been very, very easy. So I want to give a shout out to the health department for the great work they do. And Larry, I'm going to bring you on now to give an update.
Good morning, Justin. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
All right, thanks. Hey, thanks for the shout out. It was great seeing you on Saturday, or maybe that was Friday. I can't remember. We were doing clinics so many days now. And thank you for leading by example. Community leaders putting that out there is very good for the what we're trying to accomplish here with the vaccine campaign. So just real quick, want to give you an update on the numbers. We're going to be reporting out tomorrow. Tomorrow's weekly that we do, and we are headed towards 5,000 cases. Not sure we're going to get over that number, but we might. We've been averaging over 300 cases a week over the last few weeks. Our all-time high was 350 set on December 2nd, and we're in what I call a third wave of cases. A couple things going on. You know, the two variants have been identified in Shiawassee County, the UK and the Brazilian variant. They're more contagious. They're more transmissible. And as I said last time I was on, right now we're in a race to against these variants to vaccinate with the goal of achieving the herd immunity and preferably through vaccine and not through a combination of vaccine and illness. So regarding our positivity rate, still pretty high. It's at 18.6. I just pulled the latest data today. 305 daily tests, so that's up. Memorial Testing Site has increased in their demand. Testing is more widely available now. I know other entities are doing it, including Rite Aid, which is scheduled by appointment. The positivity rate peaked out at about 22.3. So some good news is that we're showing a 1 week on average decline. And I'm hoping that trend continues, which would mean we're on the backside of that third wave. And that's where I want to be, backside headed down. 475.5 cases per million. That is also on a 9-day decline. So remember, as we came out of March into April, everything was increasing. Now we're seeing some positive signs that we might be trending in the right direction. And that's to be expected as we vaccinate more people. The infection rate should be brought down. However, the big concern I have right now is just the hospitalizations. That's one we're watching real closely. Memorial's been fluctuating, but my latest information from yesterday was 17 COVID patients at Memorial, 3 in the ICU, and 57% of their beds are occupied. So, you know, that's one of the things that we really monitor in this case of the pandemic. And really, it's not normal to have your ICU having this many patients in April or this many COVID patients coming in. So we're going to watch that and just hoping that we're on the backside of this third wave. Now for some good news. The vaccines, we're rolling along. We've received 18,800 doses of COVID vaccine to the health department since it started. And countywide, 35,920 doses have come to our county. Now that's everything. That's the pharmacies that are enrolled in the federal program. That's the long-term care facilities. Those are direct shipments. So the vaccine has now loosened up, and we are seeing more of it come into our county after a slow start, as you all were aware. We've got 22,800, just over 22,800 have received their first dose of the vaccine. So that's a good number. We're tracking the state on that, where it's about 41% of our target number. Our target number is 55,795 is our target population. We've got just under 16,000 fully vaccinated, or 28%. And just over 28%. The state of Michigan's at about 30. So we're tracking a little bit behind the state, but pretty much on target. The data on that is updated daily, and we're running 2 large clinics today and Thursday. So we're going to do, this week we received 1,000 first dose, 900 second dose. We allocated 580 doses to community partners to help, but we're having to take on more of the work right now as Memorial's had to pause some of their clinics to deal with the COVID outbreak. We're hoping to get our partner over there back online real quick. Clinics this week are scheduled first dose 18 and older, and individuals 50 and older for a second dose. We're starting to see where people that wanted the vaccine have been able to get it. So now we're going to have to move to a different method of how we're doing outreach. We're going to do a public health education campaign, trying to get more people that may have been on the fence, that may not be sure about it. We're looking at pop-up clinics. We've discussed different ideas with regard to a pop-in, basically walk-in clinic. And Justin and I have been in some discussions about going out to businesses that would have a demand for enough people, like a factory. So we're looking at those other options. We want to get as many people as we can vaccinated. And so if you are still interested, or people you know that want to get the vaccine, obviously go to our website, fill out our JOT form, and you will be receiving a call from the health department. And the other thing I just wanted to mention was 316 and 17-year-olds have been vaccinated with Pfizer. Memorial partnered with us on that, and they are going to run a second dose clinic next week. And then we will have 316 and 17-year-olds from Shiawassee County schools vaccinated. And we're going to request more Pfizer from Region 1 in Ingham County. And I will do some outreach to the schools, which I've already done through our RASD, and try to get more of those students in that age range vaccinated that maybe didn't know about it at first. Because now, as schools are coming into the end of the year here, they want to do graduations, they want to do proms. I'm trying to provide guidance on those issues, and it would help to have some of their students fully vaccinated who wouldn't have to quarantine. So that's the other real benefit to getting fully vaccinated. So that's all I've got, Justin. I'll be happy to take any quick questions.
Thank you, Larry. I do want to open up real quick before we turn it over to our friends from Senator Stabenow's office. My first question, you did actually comment on already. The hope would be that employers, particularly larger ones, might be willing to host these events. So what would be the process? I know a number of employers had signed up already on that interest form several months ago. About interest in the vaccine. Are you contacting them? Do you want them to reach out to you if they want to host an on-site event? How do you want that to be?
Well, that's a good question. And we got to work through the logistics on that. But one of the things that we're going to talk about this Wednesday or tomorrow, you and myself and Jody, is just whether or not we want to send out a quick survey. Hey, are you willing to host? And if so, how many people can you that have interest? Because we really don't want to go to the site and show up and then nobody wants to get the vaccine. So we kind of have to work through some of the logistics on that. And I'll get with you offline on that once we get Jody here. She's at the clinic today.
Great. Thank you, Larry. Any comments or questions for our health department director, Larry Johnson? If you have anything right now, hit *6 on your phone, please. *6. Okay. Well, Larry, thank you as always. Once again, you ran a great clinic. It was Saturday morning. I was there. It went very well. I did feel it was important to showcase on my social media page that I had gotten it, because I think that is an important thing to be able to show that community leaders are getting it. I think that is one way to maybe overcome some of the concerns people have if they know people that are getting it. So I'm definitely going to continue to let people know how my health journey goes. My second one, as I said, is in mid-May, so I'll share at that time how I feel. But so far, so good. So thank you, Larry. Okay, well, we want to transition now to our friends at Senator Stabenow's office. We have Vernon and Spencer joining us today. Very grateful, Spencer. We've worked with you the last couple of years. You do an excellent job representing the senator and being a great conduit for information back and forth here in Shiawassee County, and wanted to give you guys an opportunity to come on today and give a federal update. And I know one of the things that is really top of mind, it just got announced, the guidelines, the regulations as it relates to the restaurant revitalization fund, which is hopefully going to be a huge lifeline for a lot of restaurants and food businesses in the county. So I'm going to turn it over now to Vernon and Spencer to give everyone an update. So I don't know how you guys want to tag team this, so I'll just open it up to both of you.
Great. Well, thank you, Justin. As always, I appreciate that, sir, and your leadership in the area. And of course, thank you, Larry, for your update and the work that you and your team are doing every day. Folks, as you all know, the senator, or as you might know, the senator has joined these calls in the past and really enjoys speaking to this group, just generally. Of course, as always, the senator wishes that she could be here with all of us, but Vernon and I appreciate you giving us this opportunity to participate on her behalf. Just to introduce myself again, my name is Spencer. I serve as Senator Stabenow's regional manager and cover 9 counties in the eastern Michigan area, including Shiawassee County, and really work with regards to issues pertaining to community development and casework. So issues that our constituents and businesses are having with the federal government. We know there have been a number of issues with SBA programs. So, I know Justin sends around my contact information, and I just want to extend an open invite to, if any businesses or participants on this call are having issues, whether that be with their EIDL program or a PPP, whatever that might be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And then Vernon, of course, serves as Senator Stabenow's senior legislative aide on key economic issues, and is really the senator's right-hand man with issues pertaining to banking, small business, and economic development. So really happy that Vernon was able to join us this morning. And Justin, I know your audience has questions on various a number of SBA's various programs. And of course, I know Vernon wanted to kind of give a quick rundown of what's happened recently and take any questions after all. Of course, if there are any concerns that Vernon and I are unable to address now, as always, Justin, more than happy to circle back with you and to get you an answer ASAP. So with that, I think I covered my part, and I will kick it over to my colleague Vernon if he's there.
Hi, good morning. Thank you all. And just to echo 2 things that Spencer said, I was on the call with Senator Stabenow earlier this year when she was able to join you guys. And just to echo Spencer, I know it's something that she really likes to do, and it was a great call at the time. And then the second thing I will echo is that for any of the things we're about to talk about, like Shutter Venue Operator Branch or the Restaurant Revitalization Grant, if any of you are having any issues or have any concerns with any of these things, please definitely reach out to Spencer. He and I will connect. I'm happy to connect with you as well, just to work through these things, because it really has been an extraordinary year for a lot of this stuff, but especially for these programs running through SBA. And we have done a ton of work across the state with a lot of businesses to just help navigate things, because, honestly, Congress has asked a lot of SBA in the last year. And so with any of this stuff, there's always kind of a process of navigating kind of the practicalities of how these things work. And so on that note, of course, I think the two things that are kind of of most active interest right now is the Small Business Administration standing up both the Shuttered Venue Operator Grant Program and the Restaurant Revitalization Fund Program. Both of these two programs are from both the American Rescue Plan Act, which passed last month, and then also the December deal, the December appropriations bill that obviously passed in December of last year. As I'm sure most of you are well aware, SBA tried to launch the Shuttered Venue Operator Grant Program and encountered a pretty serious error with one of the vendors running basically the back end of the website. And so that did not work. And, obviously that is extremely frustrating for everybody involved. And so right now, kind of where that stands is, and this is actually true for both Shuttered Venue Operator grants and restaurant revitalization grants, the hope is SBA will be able to reopen the portal for the first and open the portal for the second, basically within the next 2 weeks. And so as was set up, we got a set of guidance for the restaurant revitalization grants recently. I myself am still going through that. But again, would echo this time myself earlier to say, if you guys are seeing anything in there that looks problematic, or you have questions or concerns about exactly how some of the lines that Small Business Administration drew will apply to your business, again, please reach out to us. We're super happy to kind of work through those things and also help you work them through with SBA. Excuse me. More broadly, the two things that I will point out that Congress will be working on kind of for the next several months. In the short term, Congress will be focused on an American kind of international competitiveness bill in terms of manufacturing. And the hope there is that there will be kind of a range of bipartisan policies that can be put together to kind of promote American competitiveness. And so during the next few weeks, we're going to see kind of what seems to be the art of the possible there. And then in May, I would expect we'll try to pass something. And then the other kind of big thing is the president has already rolled out his American Jobs Plan. Right now, it's anticipated that next week he will roll out his American Families Plan. And I think going into the summer, Congress will be working kind of very, very hard to see how to craft one bill or possibly multiple bills kind of around those plans, with the hope of getting things into law sometime this summer. And throughout the course of the pandemic, I think there was initially, and we saw this with the original, kind of the first bill we passed, the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act, as well as the CARES Act, kind of this phase where we were trying to get a handle on what was even happening and how to assist people and businesses through what was going to be a very unusual and difficult time. I think now we're also looking at kind of, okay, at this point in the course of the pandemic, especially as people get vaccinated, kind of what comes next, and then what is the vision for the future beyond the pandemic. And so the last year has been, at least as far as I've worked for Congress, the busiest year I've been here. And I think this year will also be very busy in terms of doing some pretty big things. And so, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've already been talking a lot this morning, but my throat is a little sore. But of course, I and Spencer are super happy to answer any questions that we might be able to answer, or just to kind of hear from all of you what you're thinking, what's going on, and what we should be thinking about, kind of, especially going into the summer.
Thank you, Vernon. I do have a question. I'll open it up here to the audience in a second, but I was just looking at it this morning, and I don't know how much you know, but there was a press release actually just came out, and I'm looking at it. Peter Stabenow announced over $175 million in federal funding for Michigan small businesses. It said senators help secure funding for the state small business credit initiative to the American Rescue Plan. Can you talk about what that is and how our businesses can access those dollars?
Yes. Yes. So some of you may know the State Small Business Credit Initiative was initially created as kind of a post-financial crisis program to basically help smaller businesses reconnect with access to capital, which, of course, at the time was an extremely serious problem. And back then, the program was quite successful, and Michigan in particular, through MEDC, was very good at kind of leveraging the federal dollars into private investment and dollars to small businesses. And so at the time, it was Senator Stabenow in the Senate and Senator Peters in the House. Now, of course, then Congressman Peters, now Senator Peters. So both senators kind of early in the pandemic started working together to refund and reauthorize the program because, again, it was effective. And this time it's in the American Rescue Plan, was reauthorized and funded with $10 billion, of which, Michigan right now is set to get about $175 million. And so basically there'll be two steps to that. The Federal Treasury Department will basically be issuing some guidance on exactly how at the state level those dollars will be distributed, and then MEDC will be like the actual entity in Michigan with which small businesses can connect to get those dollars. But the hope is that, again, with especially the kind of crazy disruptions that existed during the pandemic for small businesses, this will be a way to kind of get access to capital flowing again, both to get it back to kind of a normal place, but also to sort of lift it up higher coming out of the pandemic. Because again, there's still going to be some economic disruptions, right? And so I think the idea is this program will kind of be very helpful in getting that normal access to capital flow back actually happening. And so there'll be more on that at the state level, and similarly, so as that starts getting rolled out, I mean, you'll see it, of course, but also always feel welcome to reach out to us as well.
Thank you. And I'm guessing, and I don't know if any of my banker friends are on the call today. Obviously, that access to capital issue is a challenge right now for various reasons. Obviously, the market has been disrupted. So I'm thinking, Michigan Economic Development Corporation has had some really good programs that mitigate risk for banks. They're not actually serving as a bank themselves, but they are mitigating risk. So I guess what I would say to any businesses on the phone or bankers, if you're having challenges getting access to capital through your financial institution because of the economy, because they're saying things are too risky, these might be programs for you to take a look at. So I do have one more question, but I do want to open it up. Does anyone have any questions for Vernon or Spencer? Hit *6 on your phone, please. Anyone have anything?
Justin, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Colleen.
I got a quick question about the moratorium on foreclosures and evictions. I know we keep pushing it back, worried about homeowners, but when will that end? Because, as landlords, that's a concern too. Is it going to end soon, or are we able to start going after slow payers?
Yeah, that's a great question. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, and so I know that there was a federal eviction moratorium, and I forget the exact date of that sunset. I'd be happy to look into that, Colleen, unless Vernon, you had that off the top of your head there. I know that's not typically an issue that you deal with.
Yeah, that's right. So let me just say two things quickly. One, yeah, please follow up with us. Let's because we can get some specific information on that. I think writ large, I think you are hitting on a very important point, and this is one that has been kind of debated since the beginning, because right, they're one of the difficulties with the housing system is that there are both, renters, but also landlords. And one of the difficulties, but also goals, is to try to make that system work through the disruption of the pandemic. And it's been hard. And I know the senator has kind of heard the exact concern that you are expressing. And so housing is not my kind of, not generally within my portfolio, so I'm not 100% sure. But as Spencer said, let us do a little bit of digging, and we are happy to follow up with you after.
Colleen, just to confirm, it does look as though the CDC's extended the moratorium for evictions on non-payment until June 30th. So I have a date, but like Vernon said, obviously the larger concern there is something that we're hearing from obviously both renters and landlords, and it is one that the senator again has taken very seriously and will continue to do so. Again, it looks like this came from the CDC this time instead of through a direct legislation through Congress. But again, please know this is an issue that the senator is taking very seriously and trying to find solutions for all folks in the housing market. But of course, if there's more information to follow up on, like I said, and like Vernon offered, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I know Justin, I know you send around our contact information, or at least mine.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Colleen. Other comments or questions from any speakers? *6 on your phone to unmute yourself. I'll jump in with my other question. Actually, it's more of a comment. One thing I have been hearing from folks in light of maybe some challenges in access to capital, a number of folks are looking at the expanded EIDL funding availability. So I know that has been bumped up from, I believe, 150,000 up to 500,000. I've talked to a couple businesses in the last week that have submitted paperwork for that. And then also part of that is a EIDL cash grant advance. So I don't know if you want to comment on the EIDL program at all.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. So of course, in parallel with the Paycheck Protection Program, both the EIDL loans have been kind of very expanded with respect to the pandemic, and then also EIDL advances, which are essentially grants, again, in connection with the pandemic, have both been quite popular programs throughout the pandemic. And also, they basically just offer another source of and another sort of assistance to the pandemic. And so we have done a lot of work with a lot of small businesses that have been applying. And I will say there have been, some issues with applications, again, similar in some ways to some concerns with PPP, where SBA is not always kind of getting responses to applicants and things like this in a particularly timely manner. So if anyone is having any problems with that, please contact us. We can help. We've worked through that for a lot of small businesses. But I guess the only other thing I will say is if you haven't already, I would definitely encourage people to at least check out kind of the specs of the program on the SBA website, because there are definitely some instances in which it can be helpful, in some circumstances where maybe PPP is not ideal, or yes, where PPP may not be ideal. So definitely something to look out for. And again, if you're having any issues, please contact us.
And if I could hop in there quick, Justin, from my perspective with regards to, my role in the office being casework, I've seen a bit of an uptick on businesses that have had various issues with regards to their EIDL applications. The targeted program, I've heard issues there. So I don't know if you're seeing any patterns in why people are being denied. For example, I've heard recently issues regarding IRS documents that the IRS is submitting to SBA as part of the application process. So, and of course, I hope that's not the case, and I hope you're not seeing that. But if you are seeing any patterns or any concerns with these programs, that's helpful for me to know. And as always, people who might be running into problems, obviously point them my way and happy to help them.
Great. Thank you, Spencer. And thank you, Vernon. Last call. Any comments or questions for Spencer or Vernon? If you do, hit *6 on your phone, please. Anybody else have anything?
Justin?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Mark Falks, Perry Township.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, just following up on our preliminary engineering water system improvements for the city of Perry and Perry Township, including both areas. As you know, we're supposed to get some stimulus windfall, maybe 300,000 or 400,000 for Perry Township, a couple 100,000 for the city, and of course that won't go very far in a $2 million project. But just wondering if there's any updates. I know Chris Hennessy used to work on Deb's office there. Stopped in Wednesday here at the township, and we discussed it a little further. But I just putting the feeler out, seeing if that project, that EDA money, is still available, and if we're on the list.
Yeah, good question, Mark. Vernon, Spencer, any updates on EDA? We have heard from our EDA rep that significantly more money is going to be made available for projects. We do have a major infrastructure project that we are applying for in Perry and Perry Township, a water infrastructure project, and we're really pretty well ready to go, a plan in a can. We just need to get the guidance from EDA on that. So any updates on EDA funding at all?
Yeah, this is Vernon. I'll say two things. One, I know that, there is more coming, and they're still working at the federal level on guidance for making that happen. The other thing I'll say is, for this specific project, I think it would be great to connect with Spencer after this, and maybe we can track down something, kind of what's going on with funding for this specific project. Appreciate it.
It would be helpful. First of all, I'd love to get some more information. It'd be helpful to know, I guess, where you are in that planning process, if there's an application that's out there, and if you're just waiting for a response, or if you're waiting for guidance before applying, and everything like that. But yeah, Mark, I think that would be great to circle back on and get some more information on.
Great.
Great, we'll do that. Thank you, Mark. Other comments or questions from anybody? *6 on your phone, please. Okay, well, Spencer, Vernon, great information, great Q&A. Very much appreciate your time. As you said, the Senator has been on several of these calls over the past year. You guys have been on. We always want to make sure we have great communication with our federal officials, and we very much appreciate the relationship, Spencer, we've had with you, and we'll just continue to be in touch, and I'll let you know what we're hearing and seeing in Shiawassee, and certainly anybody on this call, if you need anything from the Senator, reach out to these guys. And as Spencer said, his contact information is in the invitation to this call every week, his phone number and email. So certainly that's a good way to get a hold of him. Spencer, Vernon, anything final you want to add?
Yeah, as always, Justin, I would just add, appreciate your leadership. And as we all know, this last year has been a roller coaster. And, but you've always been there as far as informing everyone, keeping everyone at the table, and, just trying to keep everyone up to date, which is not easy with all of these programs constantly changing. So, of course, we appreciate the relationship. And I know the Senator always appreciates your feedback and getting the chance to hear from your group. So we'll pass this on, and again, just a great opportunity. So thank you, Justin.
Great. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Vernon. Just a wrap-up item here. We've obviously been having the second round of these calls for several months. We've had the opportunity to hear from all of our federal representatives, our state representatives, many of our partners. We are looking for anybody that we have not had or maybe have not had on in a while. Let us know. We'd love to bring them back on. We want to make sure these calls are worthy of your time every Tuesday morning. So I'm going to be sending out a follow-up email shortly, but if there's any speakers you'd like to hear from or any information you'd like to gather, we'd like to be able to offer that to you. So something to keep in mind. So if you have anything, let us know, but I will be sending out an email asking for input. So with that, we'll let everybody go. Thank you all for being here today, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thank you.